What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And I am so glad you are here. I am loving the way that you guys are getting involved with Straight Talk and becoming the straight talkers that you are, always reaching out, always talking to me about my great guests. And I found another great guest for you, and her name is Sara. And she is one of the most inspirational female speakers in the marketplace today. She is the author of the award winning book, How I Survived the Killing Fields, and the co-author of The Holistic Approach. And I'm so glad that she's here because I really love what she stands for and what she's about. So, Sara, thank you so much for being on Straight Talk. How are you?
Good. How are you, Nina? I'm so glad that we get to talk, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Listen, I have a really fantastic audience. And one of the things that I always hear from them is how much they love who I speak to, the stories that come out of this. And so, what I like to do on Straight Talk is just use our stories, Sara, to inspire other people and to let them know who you are, because I think it's important, right? When we're trying to connect with people, to let them know who we are and then connect with them in whatever way we do. So, I know you have a lot going on. So, we're going to touch on all of that. We're going to touch on your speaking and your book and the fact that you do coach people, things like that. So before we get all into the nitty gritty, let's know a little bit more about you, Sara. Who is Sara?
Oh, okay. I will give you a short version of my story. My story is in the whole book, but
Right.
but I will not take that much time. So, I grew up in Cambodia. I was a child of a farmer. I was the firstborn child. As you
Mm,
can imagine, the firstborn get all the love, right?
right.
So, so I feel so much love and secure. And my parents uh, want to keep me in school. They believe in higher education, so they didn't teach me much about farming.
Mm,
So with that in mind, I keep going. And then when I finished high school, I went on to college. And college is far away from home. That means I
mm,
had to leave my family behind. I have I have three younger brothers and my parents. So I left to the capital city where I pursue a higher education. And while I was away from home, there's a horrible thing happened to Cambodia.
mm.
You probably heard about it. It's when the communist Khmer Rouge took over Cambodia.
Oh.
They came in with madness and anger and resentment, and they marched in like a military style right into the city. They shut down everything,
Oh my
and the
God.
next day they pursued to evacuate the whole city.
Wow.
So that means everybody need to get out from the house. As we
Mm-hmm.
are going through the storm Ian right now, I didn't want to get out. If I can just stay put in my secure home, I stay. So I did stay. But in my case in Cambodia, I could not stay.
Right.
They point the gun at us and they demanded you go, go, go. So we left everything behind.
Hmm. Is that what when you were in the city? Were you by yourself there without your family when they did this?
Right, yes, yes.
Mm,
But before, like a couple days before they came in, I went to visit my uncle who live in the suburb, and I cling on to my uncle. He have a wife and two children.
mm.
So when they evacuate, I was evacuated with my uncle and his family.
Okay.
So we went on to just walk away from the city. And then finally, I arrived in the village, and then they start to push us to work right away, work in the rice field,
Mm,
and then they also ask for people who want to move to a different location, and that location that they want to move us to, it's the city where my family lives. So
Oh.
I volunteer just as fast as I can. So I went, but they did not take me to the city where I want to go. They drop us in the mm, like a middle of nowhere. I was so
Mm,
disappointed. But
mm,
and then like a few weeks later, they look for another for more volunteer to go to a different place, to a different camp, and I volunteer again because at that time I was in the mood of keep moving. I
right, right.
might, yeah, I might have a chance to go back home. So that's what I was trying to do. Is that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, every opportunity I did volunteer. So my volunteer the second time didn't get me anywhere. I end up in the big um, forced labor camp.
Oh, wow.
This camp they only take the single man and woman because they work us very hard.
Right,
They push us to work like crazy hour, like 16 hours a day,
right.
seven,
Wow.
7 days a week, and they give us very little food to eat, and we were exhausted and
I'm
starved.
sure.
And
And no
then
money, right? No money with that. It's
no,
forced. Right.
we work just to get a bowl of soup. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And there's no escaping that, or at least you feel like there's no escaping that, right? You're thinking
No.
eventually I'll end up with my family, and instead you ended up there. That is so tough. How long did you stay in that kind of situation?
4 years.
Wow.
4 years.
Wow.
There's so many things going on during that 4 years. I I got very sick.
Mm-hmm. I
I
bet.
almost died. Almost died. They send the sick people to a camp, a different shelter where all the people are very sick. So I found my way out from there because I didn't want to die.
Right.
My goal
Right.
is my goal is to keep alive, being alive,
Okay.
so that I can go back home.
Did you know where you were? Did you know the area where they had put you for those 4 years?
Approximately, not exactly, but
Right.
I know I'm not too far from the city where my family lived.
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Was your family affected also? Like, were they taking over those towns or those cities as well?
Yes, yes, the whole country was affected.
Right,
They
right.
they displaced everybody. Nobody
Wow.
can stay in the same house anymore.
Right. So when you left in those four, did you escape from the hospital when they put you there? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Can I ask you about that? Like, how did you escape there? How were you able to manage that?
Well, when I realized that that place is very dangerous for me, I could get more disease. So I tried to find my way out. So
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I cannot do much. I cannot run away because I was so sick. But I think about God
Mm,
when I search and then look for solution, and I remember I believe that there is God since I was young.
right.
So at this
Wow.
time I pray to God. I pray, ask him to help me.
Wow.
So after praying for many nights, um, one morning when I got up very early before everybody else, I realized I will try. I'm going to try to walk away from here, and hopefully nobody see me. Yeah,
Right.
I, I sneak out,
Wow.
and I end up at the other side where all the working people are staying. I met one young team leader. She's a kindest person, and she saw me coming, and she took me in her group, and she said, "You stay with me. I can try to find something for you to do." So in this whole camp, you have to do something. You cannot
Right.
just not
Right.
doing anything.
Right.
So she realized I'm too sick to do anything for her, but she talked to the people at the kitchen, and she told me that,
Wow.
you can go help out in the kitchen. So it's just like, oh my goodness, it's like winning the lottery for me.
Right. Right. Because you hadn't eaten. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
When
Wow.
when everybody was so hungry,
Right.
I got to work in the kitchen.
Right.
So
Wow.
that's God
Wow.
answered prayer for me right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? And what I loved about all of that is that you said, I remembered I had faith, right? The 4 years that you were going through this horrible time, did you remember God, or you hadn't remembered and you were just trying to survive?
I remember. I
Hmm.
remember. I
Hmm.
believe in God.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
did you have um faith that one day this would be over?
I have a glimmer of faith that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that keeps
I
us alive, doesn't it, Sarah? That
yes,
glim of face. Yeah.
yes, yes. I did not give up hope at
Right.
all. I still
Right.
have a glimmer of faith.
Right. Now,
Mm.
when you escape and you said you went back to your town, did you go back to where your parents were or no?
Eventually, yes, but until after 4 years,
Wow.
I
That's
have
a
one.
long time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see them? Did you get to reunite with them? Were they still there or
Yes, finally, after I escaped the second time, I got to reunited with them,
wow.
and they gone through hard time just like I did.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that must have, but it's so hard, right? Because you're all going through hard times and they're probably, thinking about you. Where's our daughter? Is she alive? Is she okay? Right. And the same,
yeah,
I'm sure you were going through too. Like, are my parents and my brothers alive? Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's tough.
Throughout the whole 4 years, I
Right.
was thinking about them all the time.
Right.
That's what kept me going.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes I was about to die. I was just so sick. I have a hard
Right.
time breathing and all that. It's just like, oh, okay, one more day. Just
Wow.
keep pushing myself because I was thinking about my family.
Right. That's so
Mhm.
strong, Sarah. That's so strong. Like, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, what a fighter, right? What a fighter, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot. I mean, you're physically ill, you're exhausted. You don't have your family, so you're alone, right? You're being oppressed and you're being forced to do labor that is extremely hard.
Yeah,
And then to just keep one more day. If we can all live our life like that, right? Even when we're not going through the hard times, just understand how precious life is. Life must mean so much more to you, is what I'm trying to say, right? When you
yeah.
go through that kind of experience, like, um so when you left and you saw them, my gosh, I can imagine that day. What did that feel like when you saw them? Were they still in the same house, in the same field? Were they still there or no?
No, no,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
we lost our house. So when I went back and I went to the location where our house used to be,
Yeah.
and the house was gone,
Oh wow.
and my family was gone, nobody around there, that area that I recognize. But I tracked down, and finally my I found my aunt, and she told
Wow.
me where my family moved to. So
Okay.
I went and I found my family, and they were so surprised.
Yeah, I bet.
My dad was not home at that time that I arrived, because you know what? He still keep riding a bicycle looking for me.
Oh,
He's
Sarah.
he was
Oh
riding the
my
bicycle everywhere he could
God. Oh,
possibly go, and he asking for me. You see my daughter? Have you seen my daughter? Everywhere.
oh my gosh. Oh, my heart. Wow, the love of a parent, right? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. That is, oh man, that's wow. Wow. We have to pick up your book, Sarah. Wow. All right. So you find your amazing family, which I can imagine they were like crying. You were crying because that must have been the most powerful moment of your life, right? So
yeah,
when you is I know that your book How to Survive the Killing Fields is about this, right? Is about this your amazing story. So now that you are a speaker, because you're speaking now, is this what you talk about mostly? Do you talk about like your holistic approach, your survival skills? What do you talk about when you do your motivational speaking?
it it depends on the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I have a faith-based audience that want
Mm-hmm.
me to talk about how I find hope during the hard time.
Right. Wow. Yeah, we need
And
that.
yeah, so that's one group of audience, and some other audience I will talk about wellness, about how how to stay well
Mm-hmm.
physically and mentally and
Mm-hmm.
emotionally. So it's a total wellness that I am
Yeah.
I'm promoting the total wellness.
No,
And
that's great. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and sometime in the business community, I talk about resilience. I
Mm-hmm.
talk
Mm-hmm.
about perspective. I talk about mindset, about how to stay
That's
positive when
fantastic.
yeah, how to stay
Mm-hmm.
positive when you are in the negative situation.
Right, but Sarah, nobody can come to you with a negative situation. You've overcome something that most of us have never gone through, right? So the minute the minute any of us come to complain, you're like, "Excuse me, read my book, okay? Stop being a baby." I'm just joking, but I mean, when you talk to someone like you who's phenomenal in their thinking, and somebody who's you're not even like most of us say we're going through a challenge, right? But you lived through it, right? So there is a different perspective, Sarah, when you look at things through the lens of where you did it, right? The way
Mhm.
you had to survive,
Yeah,
as opposed to us complaining about how we can't get our email to work, right? Those are two different things. um but I really am proud of you for writing about your life, and then also using your experiences in life to now inspire someone else, and like really show them that life, you can make life move forward, with hope, and your mindset and the way you approach life. That's very beautiful, and it's a gift to people. It really is a gift, because was there someone that was in your life, or someone while you were going through that hard time, that helped you look at life a different way? Or was it more what was in you already? Was it more of your faith, or was it people around you? How was that for you?
it it was in me. Most of it is in my heart
Right.
because uh, just before I went off to college, my mom, who I was the caregiver to,
Mm.
she recovered from a 4 years of paralysis.
Oh, wow.
She had an accident. She became paralyzed and knocked her down for 4 years.
Wow.
And finally, she recovered just before I graduated from high school.
Wow.
So that relationship that I nurture her and took care of her, and I want her to be well so bad.
Right.
Then I love on her, and we built such a strong relationship that built my resiliency,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
built my confidence.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Wow.
so when the hard time come, I draw from that confidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just the love that I have for her.
Right. And you know what else too? I think there's something powerful to be said about helping someone else when you're going through something, right?
Hmm.
Because it's strong, and it says something when your mom was ill, for you to say, I'm going to nurture this woman. I'm going to care for her. I'm going to be there for her. And I think that a lot of us, if we would take the time to get out of our own head and our own way and pour into someone else, that can change a lot of things in our life, right?
Hmm.
I
Yes,
always say, if you're too stuck in your head, then go help someone else, and that will help you, right? And
yes,
in your case, that was not only did you help your mom recover, thank God, but that strength and resiliency that you saw your mother recover from, I'm sure had a lot to do with why you said, one more day, one more day,
yeah,
right?
yes,
Wow, that's
yes.
deep. That's deep. That's deep. So now I know that you go around and you do these talks, and you do, like you said, from different angles and different ways. How did you start to develop more of your resiliency moving forward, right? So you found your family. Did you and your family stay under this oppression for a long time? Were you able to leave Cambodia? How did that come about?
Well, the whole country had been liberated. By the time that I went back to find my family, the whole
Okay,
country had been liberated
thank God.
before months before I arrived.
Mm,
So I was held in captivity 4 months longer than I didn't need
wow,
to.
and you didn't even know.
Yeah,
Wow.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
I I finally had to escape in order
Right.
for me to free myself and find my
Right.
family. But
Right.
to answer your question, after we enjoy our reunion, my family nurtured me back to good health again. We
Wow.
spent one whole year together.
Wow.
But
So what you did for your mom, they were able to now do for you. Powerful.
yeah, so we realized that the country is very chaotic. It's not safe, especially for me, a single woman
Right.
in the
Right.
mid 20. I can be a victim. So my mom pushed me to get out from the country.
Okay.
It was heartbreaking.
I bet it was.
I did not want to leave.
Mhm. Mhm.
But my mom said, honey, if you make it to the other side, you will find my cousin and he will help you. And you eventually might be able to come back and help us. So that's
Wow.
the magic word. That's the magic word that sent me out, escaping from Cambodia through the jungle.
Right.
I walked through the jungle, across the border.
Oh my gosh, you must have been terrified.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And you did that alone?
I did that with one of my mom's cousin.
Just one person. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Were you able to ever go back and help your family?
Yeah, after I found my relative in United States, he sponsored me to America, and then a few years later, my mom had to escape also because she
Mhm.
was robbed. She was so bitter about being robbed, so she said, "That's it, that's it.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
going out." So she got out, but it's a long story, a
Right.
long journey. By then, everything changed. It made it very difficult, but it took me 5 years to bring them over to United States.
Wow, but you did it.
I did it. I did it.
Sarah, you're an amazing woman. Holy shiznick. Wow. The favor of God on you. My goodness. Wow. All right. Woo. This is a good interview. Holy cow. Okay. So you go now you're speaking on stages. Congratulations. I know that's not easy, but I know that it is necessary. So thank you for doing that. And then your book is out, and then you're also helping people, right? You also said that you also coach. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
what do you do with the coaching? What does that look like?
The coaching is the new service I just added on because I realized some people have stronger need than just listen to my talk, than just
Wow.
reading my book.
Yeah.
They need more help. So I decided to add the coaching to help them out.
That's great. That's great. That's great. It really is. And I think, I always say that we all need to be helping each other, right? And I always
Yeah,
say that every person needs like a either a therapist, a mentor, a coach, something to help them through. Now, do you have that for yourself? Do you at least also, go to maybe see a coach or have a team of people around you or things like that? Do you have a network around you?
yes, I have. I like people.
Yeah,
I have my group,
that's good. 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 It's
and
important.
I'm very active at my church also.
Good.
So
Good. Yeah, that helps, right, Sarah? It helps when you
yeah,
have a community around you, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so helpful.
Social connection, social
Yeah,
support. It's very healthy. It's
yeah, it
healthy
is.
for
It's
all
very,
of us.
yeah. I'm really glad that you do all of this, and I'm really, really excited that you came on my show. This was a fantastic conversation. I can see why people would want to go listen to you speak. I love everything about what you've said and the fact that you've used it all. And as I'm speaking to you, Sarah, like one of the things I don't feel from you is bitter, anger, resentment. Like I haven't heard that in your voice at all, and that is so beautiful, right? When you can get to that place in your life where you're trusting God enough to know that you don't need to live in a space of hate and anger and unforgiveness, and shame and all of that. So, thank you so much for sharing your story and for, just being able to be open and real with us here today and talk about your faith in a beautiful way. I love everything. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you, Nina. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's very, very, I'm so inspired by you. I'm so inspired.
Thank
I
you.
would love for people to know, Sarah, how they can like, buy your book or go, so go maybe book you for a talk or something like that. So if you can give us some of your social media handles or website, whatever, so people can find you, that'd be great.
Okay. Yes, I have a website. It says saraim.com. Just my first name and last name.com.
Okay.
SARAIM.com. And you can find my book there, my speaking engagement. There's a
Great.
tab for speaking and some events that is going on right now.
Okay.
And
That's
I'm
fantastic.
also on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sarah. This was such a great conversation. I appreciate you. Stay safe in Florida. Don't let those waters get to you too much. But thank you so much for being on here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you. And guys, you heard her. Isn't she amazing? Sara Im. Don't forget that name. Make sure that you go on her website. I'll make sure to link all of her information below so you don't miss anything. You got to pick up this amazing book. I know I'm going to. And you have to make sure that if you are wanting to be inspired and want somebody who's going to really tell you what it's like to overcome and win, then you're going to need Sarah to come and speak at your event. So thank you guys so much for being here. This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Until next time.